Alright, kids, saddle up your ponies because today we're talking about Stephen Chbosky's Stephen Chbosky's The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I apologize for the terrible quality of my webcam, but I am leaving for Baltimore in about... I have no watch. I am leaving for Baltimore in about a half an hour. I don't want to steal up all the storage on my iPhone because I have no time to dump it onto my computer. So you get blurry webcam videos, and for that I do apologize. As A42 mentioned, we will be discussing today Stephen, author whose last name shall remain unpronounceable, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Briefly, movie version and book version, but with the book version first. And, might I add, not a movie cover, but may I unfortunately add, soon to be a motion picture. That two of my favorite movies this year were based on books, one that I read beforehand, one that I read after, and I bought both of those books, and look what happened. Movie editions. Darn you, Barnes & Noble, why don't you carry the usual versions of the book? I know they're out there, but once the movie comes out, we get crappy movie cover copies that aren't the real deal. There's something different. I know the words are the same, but it's just not the same. And therefore, I am proud to be the proud owner of the original cover of The Perks of Being a Wallflower, even though it's not my favorite book of all time, and I'll explain why now. So I first heard about The Perks of Being a Wallflower through, sadly, the movie. The previews of the movie looked glorious. You open up with Emma Watson standing in the back of the pickup truck, driving through the Fort Pitt Tunnel in Pittsburgh, PA, and Charlie, the main character, saying the words as he's looking at her with awe, "We are infinite." It looked glorious. It looked epic. It looked like YA awesome. Charlie, who is the main character, is beginning high school, and he's very nervous about it. And when you open the book, but you realize that Charlie has just kind of come out of a very serious stage of depression. And he's kind of on the edge, which is why entering the world of high school is very, very scary for him. He's very introspective, a very thoughtful boy, and obviously tormented by some ghosts in his past. He meets up on his first, I don't know if it's his first day, but it's his first few days with these two kids. Patrick, who we all learn very quickly is gay, and Sam, who is his stepsister, aka Emma Watson. It's definitely worth seeing, and definitely worth reading. But I'm going to tell you very briefly some of the problematic themes. It's one of those that I love it because it deals with some very powerful issues. I definitely cried when I was both reading it and watching it because I feel strongly for Charlie, and there are some ways that I can relate to him. Not in the most serious ways once you read the book, I thank God, because there are some horrible things that the poor kid has undergone. The first and main reason why I can't get on the Perks of the Wallflower bandwagon, Sam, the main character, has kind of rediscovered herself after living a very promiscuous kind of, I don't know, freshman to sophomore year in high school. I guess she slept with a lot of guys, did it to gain self-worth, and has, after that point, discovered her real self-worth. And while I recognize the fact that all people make mistakes, myself included, and that it is awesome that she grows out of this need to find love through giving too much of herself away, I recognize the problem that this sort of sexy demeanor is what gives her character so much attention in the first place. And though the author may not admit it, it's true. Promiscuity, unfortunately, is glorified. I mean, half of the mystique about Sam is the fact that she is experienced. And as a Christian who is a virgin, it really bothers me. Because why in the world is it glorious to have lost your virginity and slept with thousands of people? Like, why does that make somebody attractive? I don't understand. Even in the world's eyes, it's like, well, she's more highly valued because she has known so many different men. It's the Music Man principle, a sadder but wiser girl for me. And that bothers me because it's messed up. And it makes girls who are virginal, girls who the movie mocks, makes them come across as like inexperienced and ignorant and dumb and unattractive. And I'm sorry, but when I get married, I'd love to know that I am the first woman that my husband has touched. And I hope he values the same thing about me. And I mean, obviously, there is a different set of morals between Christians and people who are not Christians, and that's understandable. It bothers me that the message is passed on towards teens, that it is not only expected of them to be physical with lots of other people, but it's pathetic if they haven't learned. Experience isn't something that should be glorified, and it makes me very, very angry. That's the number one thing that I can't stand. Obviously, Patrick being gay and that being glorified is very wrong too, but I think that the first thing slips underneath the surface and gets in the heads of teens without them really noticing, and it changes the way that they look at life, and that makes me mad. We have an impressionable audience as YA writers and authors. As Spider-Man's uncle told him, great power comes with great responsibility. Other than that, there are some things, like I said, about Charlie that I can really relate to. In the end, Sam asks him, like, what do you want? Like, you're always trying to figure out how to help other people with what they want, but what do you want? And though I know we shouldn't be selfish, and though I know love is to sacrifice for the people that we care about, a lot of times, boundaryless people will sacrifice who they are to please other people, and people want to know who you are. And I could relate to that. When I read that, I was like, wow, that's me. But the rest of Charlie is not me. Whew. Oh, another thing the book kind of glorifies is drug use. Like, well, these are supposed to be the good kids that accept him in, and they're like, here, eat this, like, laced brownie and go nuts. I don't know. I think it glorifies that a little bit too much. I'm not a big fan of this author because he's very liberal. All in all, I think it should be read. The movie, very briefly, I was underwhelmed because I expected very much out of Emma Watson, and I don't feel like I got it. I felt like she was overacting. I don't know. In Harry Potter, I hate to admit it, she overacts too. She's not the greatest actress, but she is beautiful, and she fits in the role perfectly. But there was just nothing sensational about the way she played the character. And it's such a sensational character, I wish she had. Anywho, the movie was entertaining. Actually, my favorite actor in the movie is Patrick. He was an awesome actor. Like, he played his part perfectly, and he's the kind of person that, like, if I went to the high school, I'd want to be friends with him too, because he's funny. And yeah, he played his part excellently. I think he deserves more props than Emma Watson did in that part. Charlie was also a very good actor. Anyway, this is my first book review. I don't know if I'll get it compiled before I have to go to Baltimore, but if not, I will get it compiled when I'm done. And after that, I will do a review on my former English teacher's book for you. It's about vampires, but it's better than Twilight. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you soon.